How we doing, guys? And it's finished. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. And it's definitely one of those games that I find really difficult speaking about immediately after the full-time whistle. Before the game, given the week that we've had, the North London derby, Bayern Munich, you'd have probably took a point at Stamford Bridge. You'd have sat there and said, yeah, you know what? Beat Spurs, beat Bayern Munich, point at Stamford Bridge. I'll take that. But given the context of the game and how it unfolded and what happened and, you know, the red card and everything, I look back on it and I think to myself, I'm disappointed. Is that an opportunity missed? And let's remember as well, Chelsea were down to 10 men when they went 1-0 up. So that's sloppy defending from a corner, ironically. And then we get back into the game and it's a brilliant move and a great goal. And I think, right, there's 25 minutes to go. But there was nothing. It didn't feel like we were going to go on and win the game. It didn't feel like we were playing against 10 men. If anything, Chelsea were trying to push forward. I think this was more of a must-win game for Chelsea than it ever was for Arsenal. That's probably the best way of describing the game. And I just feel that there were a lot of players that had heavy legs and the whole week, not just physically, but mentally, took its toll. And yeah, we didn't really have any chances after we equalised. There was the Mikel Moreno shot, which was well saved. And then right at the end, all Jurrien Timber has to do is not go for the ball, just duck. And Victor Gyökeres wins us the game. And it was very reminiscent to last season at Stamford Bridge. If you remember, virtually the last kick of the game, the ball gets put in by William Saliba. And if Trossard doesn't touch it, Kai Havertz has a tap in. So it's one of those where we could have nicked it and we would have kind of looked on it as a bit of a smash and grab, if anything. But like I've always said, if you cannot win, just make sure you don't lose. Now, this is not us playing against Wolves or anyone down the bottom end, with all due respect to them. This is us playing away from home against a side that started the weekend second in the league and are on a really good run of form. Just beaten Barcelona in the Champions League. They have Cole Palmer back and everything else. So you've got to look at it balanced and try and, look at it objectively. And I look at the league table now. And what I would say is this, is that instead of focusing on this one game here, we go week on week is how I kind of like to look at it. And there's been 2 games within the space of this week. Now, before we started all of these games, when we come back from the international break, Man City were 4 points behind us. And everyone was saying they're breathing down our necks. Right now, we're 5 points ahead of Manchester City. So we've actually gained a point on Man City over the course of this week. Chelsea, nothing's changed. It's still 6 points. We've gained another point on Liverpool. I think it is. I think it was a point or something. But you get where I'm going. It's kind of imbalance. We're actually not worse off than we were a week ago. We're actually better, which is what I'm trying to look at and what I'm trying to use as a positive. We're actually better off now than when we came back from the international break, because we've gained a point. And let's also remember that whilst the likes of Manchester City were playing Leeds, for example, and no disrespect to Leeds, but it's not the North London derby or Chelsea away, is it? You're looking at Liverpool, and we still will look at Liverpool, but they were playing West Ham. You look at Chelsea last week, they were playing Burnley. So they've had a game in there where they can kind of go, okay, maybe don't have to be at 100% and can rotate a little bit. And, Man City, They just about beat Leeds United at home after nearly throwing it away, and they completely changed their side for the Champions League game against Leverkusen. You know, rested absolutely everybody and brought them all back. So there was no excuses for tiredness or anything. So yeah, I'm just trying to look at it with a positive light. There's a part of me that is disappointed because I just want the win. And nothing gives me more joy than beating Chelsea. Horrible, horrible club. Everything about it. Everything they've got, they bought. It's that simple, but that's another subject for another day. But yeah, I just kind of feel disappointed. And listen, I think it's a good thing that you can feel disappointed with a draw. I think the players, when you look at them at the end of the game, look disappointed. But I think overall, they'll look at it and they'll say, yeah, you know what? We weren't at our best today. We didn't play to the level we know we can play at. And the fact that we were missing Saliba as well as Gabriel has a big, you know, impact on the way that we play. There's not many teams that can go to a side that are chasing, you know, the league title, and you lose your best two centre-backs and you still don't lose a game. So I'm looking at it in a positive aspect. So whilst I'm disappointed, I can look at it and say, you know what? We dust ourselves off and we move on. And when you look at who we've played away from home, you know, we do still have to go to Spurs, which is just another game within itself. We've got to go to Manchester City. But we've been to Anfield. We've been to Stamford Bridge. We've been to Old Trafford. We've been to St. James's Park. So, yeah, listen, at the end of the day, we've had some tough, you know, away games. And we've got another one in Aston Villa in a week's time. But before that, we got Brentford at home. And as long as we, you know, get ourselves back on track and 3 points and a win and everything else, then this point in context will be absolutely fine when you look at it in the bigger picture. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's still only 5 defeats in our last 51 Premier League games now. That's a mad statistic when you think about it. 51 games. That's the whole of last season and this season. And we've only lost 5 times. Only lost once this season. So given the context, like I keep saying, I'll take it. And you've got players returning. I think Bukayo Saka probably needs a game on the bench, given his performances. And especially today, I thought he was terrible. Give Madueke some minutes, although he didn't do too much when he came on. But I suppose you can excuse him for this one. Victor Gyökeres is back now. Martin Odegaard is back now. Martinelli, Havertz is very close. We'll have to see what happens with Saliba, you know, and that situation. Calafiori coming off at half-time, was that tactical because of a yellow card? Miles Lewis-Skelly is looking very, very shaky at the moment. Very, very shaky. Something's not right with him. And I don't know whether the whole situation with England and not making the squad and the talk around him over that, which was way over the top, may have had a bit of an effect on him. So that's one to keep an eye on as well. Jurrien Timber was Jurrien Timber. Zubamendi, I felt, had a poor game by his standards. Declan Rice was just comfortable. And I think we ended the debate. Rice, Caicedo. One's a shin kicker and one controls everything. It's as simple as that. And what did I say about Cucurella as well? Foul merchant. That's all he is. So, yeah, there's a lot there to look back on and kind of think, what if? But at the same time, when you kind of look at it in the grand scheme of things and with a bigger picture, you kind of look and say, do you know what? I'll take that. It's a point. We've stopped someone in and around us gaining any points. We move on. And it's as simple as that. That's all I can say in that aspect. So there we go. Yeah, disappointed, but it's not the end of the world. we move on to Brentford, and as long as we get 3 points, then we won't really look back at this game with anything other than just another hurdle that we've tried to overcome. So, yeah, there we go. That is it. Let me know in the comment section what you think. And of course, if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.